hear stories about guys on marches and stuff, friends hiking together, and buddies just add rocks to the pack one at a time. Just add a little rock to it. Don't say anything, just walk along and add a little rock to the pack. You may know something about that. Look at you over there smiling. A little small, just you can't, just incremental. Yeah. But that's what happens. Incrementally in your life, you end up carrying a whole bunch of weight, and you go, how did this happen? Where did all this baggage come from? Sit down and examine your backpack, and you go, why did I pack all these extra rocks? You don't have to continue that. And just because a weight is in your backpack doesn't mean you have to leave it there. You know, there's a lot of folk see value when they pull out a weight. They see the weight and they say, oh, this must be important because it was tucked away safe in my backpack. Or I found my identity in this rock for so long, I can't get rid of it. I have to keep it. It's a souvenir from what I went through. Some of us, don't need to keep the souvenirs from the garbage that you went through. Some of y'all went through some stuff, kept the souvenir from it, and then when you get into another situation with another individual or another relationship, you want them to love the rock too. Listen, I brought this from my past relationship, and I've carried it for so many years that I want to share it with you. Here's how we say that. Don't make this one pay the price for what the other one did. That's how we say that. Some of y'all carry around rocks and you say, you know what, I had this rock from this past relationship and I have to find somebody else with a matching rock so that we can carry our rocks together and understand each other. That's like struggling with an addiction, let's say alcoholism. Let's say you struggle, this weight's really messing me up. It really is, it's kind of throwing me off. It's like, say you have an addiction, say you're an alcoholic, and you go to an AA meeting. It would be like finding your new spouse at the AA meeting. You find somebody with the same issue you got so y'all can identify with each other and commiserate and yeah, exactly. Commiserate. You can, codepend. If my rock matches your rock, I can depend on you. You can depend on me. Yeah, to make sure we keep that rock. Yeah, I'm not doing it. It's odd. This thing's heavy. I don't know if y'all notice or not. I like my rocks. I like my rocks. I want to keep them. Oh, yeah, but I like where the straps are. I have to pay my own price. I got to carry my own weight. These are my rocks. No. These are my rocks. I've had these rocks a long time now. I want to hang on to them. Yeah, it will. Where did this happen to me along the path? Have you ever been there? Found yourself carrying burdens and you wonder, what in the heck? Where did this come from? Why? And some rocks aren't even necessarily evil. They're just weight. There's some things for you that might be a good thing, but it might not be a God thing for you. And so if it's not God for you and you're carrying it, it's a weight that's not yours. It might be somebody else's weight. Well, Pastor Kelly, you said we're not supposed to carry any weight. No, I didn't say that. There's a lot of weight we do carry that we're not supposed to carry. What do you mean? Run your race. Live your life, not someone else's. Do what God has laid out for you, not what He's laid out for somebody else. He created you to run your race. He didn't create you to run my race. He didn't create me to run yours. He created you to run your race. Listen, I know it talks about carrying each other's burdens. I understand, helping with each other's, but I get that. And we should encourage each other along the way in our race of life. But you got to run your race. You can't run somebody else's race for them. That in itself can be a burden. That in itself can be a weight. You got to run your race. Encourage who you can, but don't carry what is not yours to carry. 1 Peter 5:6-7 says this, "Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that at the proper time He may exalt you, casting all your anxieties on Him because He cares for you." Casting all the things that you're concerned about on Him. You see, when you worry about the future, you really can't change it. When you have, regrets about the past, worries about the future. When you worry about the future, you have all this anxiety. Jesus has already been there. He already knows what's there. He's either faithful or He's not faithful. I believe He's faithful. You know how I believe He's faithful? Because He's brought me through so many things. Things that you would not believe. He's brought me through and He's been there for me. He's been faithful. So here's my question for you. Don't stand up and like this isn't confession time. I'm not asking you to confess. Unless you need to. If you need to confess, Jesus can handle it all. But what are the fears that you carry in your soul? What are the weights that you carry? I've been talking about general things. Now I'm trying to get personal with you. What are your weights? I'm not asking you to stand up. I'm asking you to be honest with yourself. Remember, that's where I started off. Jesus is requiring us to be honest with ourselves today. What are your weights? What are the weights that you carry in your soul? What are the wounds that you unnecessarily carry in your soul? What's the pain that you carry in your soul? What weights do you own? What weights have you decided to place value on in your life that are nothing but a hindrance? I know you've been around town and seen little rocks that are painted here and there and like they leave them for people to find and different things. You can dress your weight up, you can dress your rock up all you want. You can paint it. You can decorate it like an Easter egg, but it's not one. You can doll it up like one of those, what's the little eggs that you pop in half and it's got chocolate in it and the little Kinder eggs. You can paint it up like a Kinder egg, but don't try to eat it. It's not one. It's a weight. Don't lie to yourself about what it is you carry. Because if you do, you can't get free of it. What are the sorrows that you have carried in your soul for too long? I understand the concept that you can't put a time limit on grief. I understand that. But I also understand it is not the will of God for you to carry grief and pain and unforgiveness and hurt for the rest of your life. That is not the will of it is not the will of God for you to grieve the loss of something forever. There is a season. But there's a season of mourning, but there's also a season of dancing. And at some point, you have to come out of the season of mourning and let that weight go. But Pastor Kelly, you can't tell me when that is. No, I can't. But I didn't ask you to be honest with me. I asked you to be honest with you. What is it that's an unforgiveness issue? What is it that's a pain issue? What has happened to you that the offense has come that you have carried for too long? What is the weight that you lay down and keep going back to? Maybe you find it in this person. Maybe you find it in that person. Maybe you find it in another person. Maybe you find it in this church. Maybe you find it in that church. Maybe you find it in another church. But it's amazing how that weight is in every one of those places. What is the weight that we carry that Jesus wants to carry? That he says, cast all your anxieties, all your cares on him. You know what we do when we do that? We deny Jesus the right to carry what he paid for. We say, no, Jesus, I got mine. No, Jesus, I got this. I'll carry this. Jesus, I know you went to the cross and carried all that to the cross for me, and you already disposed of it and dealt with it. But Jesus, I'm not going to let you have this one. I'm going to hang on to it. It's my pet rock. We deny Jesus his right to see us set free. Matthew 11:28-30 says, come to me. Jesus said this. This is in red in my Bible. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden. See that? All who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I'm gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your soul. Where do you carry your weights? In your soul. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Jesus in this new year wants to give you rest for your soul. If you are coming out of 2022 and you are tired and you are weary and your soul is heavy, Jesus doesn't want you to carry that into 2023. He wants you to unburden yourself on him. Learn from him. Stop repeating the same old mistakes. Quit taking on the same old wrong paths. If the weight that you carry is in a path that you know you shouldn't be on, hey, here's the thought. Find another path. Get off of that path. Some weights are familiar to us, and we take comfort in it for some perverse reason. Stop taking comfort in the same old weight. It's not there to comfort you. It is there to slow you down. It is there to weigh you down. It is there to prevent you from finishing your race. You know, those saying, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger, that is a lie. The enemy is not out to slow you down or to build, he's out to destroy you. And one of the ways that he does that is by adding weight to your soul. You can't swim with a backpack full of rocks. I think what we need to do really is to just examine our own souls. Examine where we're at. Why am I carrying this unforgiveness? Why am I carrying this offense? I know that I was offended. Offense is an occurrence. Offended is a decision. Why am I carrying that for? Man, this rock seems familiar. This rock is familiar. This is a sin that I'm familiar with and I find comfort in. I keep going back and picking it up. Maybe it's time to lay it down for good. I don't need this one. Maybe this is a habit. I've thought about quitting this. Tried to quit it over and over and over. Maybe this is a weight it's time for me to not carry it anymore. Maybe I take that out of my life. Maybe this is a faith issue. Maybe this is I want to trust God in this area of my life, but I'm afraid to. I'm afraid to trust God with this. And so instead of trusting God with it and let Him carry the weight, let Him be the one that's shown faithful, I'll just carry it myself. Maybe I don't need that anymore. There's all kind of weights. You know what yours is. I ask you to be honest with yourself. There's all kind of weight. Maybe it's time for us to ditch what we don't need anymore.